Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my first impressions look on the Nike Sabrina 2. And as you guys all know, the Sabrina 1 is an amazing performer and it retails, or actually is on sale right now for like $100, but it did retail for $130, and then the Sabrina 2 also is retailing for $130, which is a pretty good price. If you guys do want to cop it, try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. If you do choose to get the shoe, it does help me out if you buy the shoe from the link or underneath this video with that kind of picture, or like right over here. But yeah, the Sabrina 2 is still available on Nike.com, but also on like Foot Locker, Finish Line, you know, JD Sports and all those stuff. So yeah, I believe they had a pretty wide release of this shoe. But yeah, just right off the bat, this shoe looks absolutely amazing. And it looks like a Kobe, you know, like the Kobe 5 a little bit, you know what I mean? A mix of the Kobe 4 and the Kobe 5 for me personally, which of course is a good thing. But anyways, let's get it started right off with the Tracciones. In this color, we kind of have like a semi-translucent outsole and has this really cool like glow to it, like this iridescent purple. And they're calling it the S traction, of course, for Sabrina. And it's basically like a herringbone traction pattern, but it's like a very edgy S, you know what I mean? And then also around the outsole, we have a very small S. You know, a lot of S's going around the outsole. And then of course we have a swoosh in the middle of the outsole, and then like a circle, like a hole, and then like another shape here, a longer shape, exposing the Cushlon 3.0 foam. You can feel it, it's really, really soft. So how does the traction feel so far? It feels really nice. There's a nice bite on my wood floor right now, and just for my first impressions, I'm really liking it so far, and it feels like a top tier bite. Of course, we'll have to see on dust performance, and also as far as durability goes, durability also seems pretty dang good. The rubber is actually quite hard. The grooves are really deep, and there's a lot of surface area, you know what I mean? There's a lot of grooves and stuff like that. So I feel like for outdoor use, you should be covered, which of course is a good thing, because Nike especially, a lot of their shoes, they make really soft rubber and just gives us nubs. Even on their more expensive shoes, it's not even good for outdoor use, right? But the Sabrina 2, $130, it feels like it'll be pretty dang good for outdoor use. And there's a nice loud high-pitched squeak, which of course has nothing to do with performance, but I feel like most Hoopers like to have that nice loud high-pitched squeak, and the Sabrina 2 definitely does have that. And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, overall it feels pretty smooth, but the shape of the actual sole is pretty flat. Look at this. So starting here in the heel, we got a little bit of a curved shape, and also we have a fully exposed midsole here in the heel. And when the leaked images came out, I thought this like darker purple was like a cage. So I thought the lighter color was just the foam, you know, but it's actually not. This is also foam right over here. So you have a lot of compression, super soft here in the heel, right? But coming here into the forefoot, it's actually quite flat, you know, so it feels a little bit like a slapper. It's not terrible or anything, but in my personal opinion, I like to have a little bit more of a curved or a rocker shape in the forefoot. So like, you know what, even if I put a little bit of weight here into the forefoot, just kind of like pushes me forward, you know. But with this, it's a little bit more on the flatter side of things. Of course, not a huge deal, again, like I said, but it is a little bit of a difference comparing it to like other shoes that I really like to play in, right? But also here in the forefoot, we have a good amount of forefoot flex, but it also seems like it has a good amount of springiness to it as well. You know, there is actually a little bit of tension. It's kind of like I have to put a little bit of force into the actual shoe to flex it, you know, so that feels pretty dang nice. It's just the overall shape is a little bit flatter than I would like personally, you know. Also, torso support seems not the best. Yeah, it literally, again, it bends in the midfoot like this. So yeah, if you need good torsion support, the Sabrina 2, not the best, just like in the Sabrina 1. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. So it's using full length Cushlon 3.0, but it is dual density, right? So the Cushlon, like in the core of the actual midsole, we have the softer Cushlon foam, and then around the perimeter or around the outside of the midsole, we have a firmer Cushlon midsole, or that's what the tech specs are saying, but it's actually really nice, right? And you have a lot of compression here in the heel. It's extremely soft. It doesn't feel like super bouncy yet, but of course I haven't played in these yet. It just feels more soft, but also the court feels really nice still. You know what I mean? You have good court feel, but still a good amount of compression in the heel, which feels really nice, right? A lot of times that's kind of hard to do. And also there seems to be a forefoot zoom unit that is top loaded, so it gives a little bit of bounce. Hopefully, you know, once I break it in, it starts to bounce a little bit more like the Sabrina 1, but right now it's a little bit more subtle, right? As far as the insole goes, the insole is not that nice. It's just a regular insole. It doesn't feel like an Orsolite insole. It just kind of feels like a cheaper material. And then underneath that, however, we have a pretty stiff strobo board, which I'm not a huge fan of. If they would just make the strobo board a little bit softer, you know what I mean? Like for example, like in the Luga 3s, also really stiff strobo board. It is breaking in pretty nicely, however, which, you know, performance review will be coming soon for that shoe. But for example, in like the Dawn issue 6, they're using a softer like foam strobo board. Of course, it's not as soft as like a soft mesh strobo board that like Chinese companies usually give us, but at least give us the foam strobo board, or you know, or actually give us like a cutout. You know what I mean? They did that in the Zoom Freak 4, I believe it was, and also they did it in the Zoom GT Cut 3 just to expose the foam a little bit more and then give us better underfoot cushion, you know. But with this setup, it's a little bit hard to feel the Cushion 3.0, but hopefully it breaks in a little bit. But I am on the lighter side of things. I'm not super heavy, so it'll probably be a little bit hard to feel the underfoot cushion with the Cushion 3.0 foam, right? But anyways, overall it does feel really nice. This shoe is obviously made to feel pretty dang quick, and you have really good core feel still with a little bit of bounce and nice compression in the heel. So that's still a nice cushioning setup, right? And now moving on to the upper. So the upper is actually pretty dang nice. When I first saw it, I was like, the quality doesn't seem very nice, however, you know, it looks like almost like a screen mesh here in the toe box. But when you look closely, it's just a really tightly woven kind of like plastic material, it looks like. But yeah, it doesn't look like screen mesh to me for some reason. But it kind of feels like it almost, you know? It almost sounds like it too. But it's like this like plastic material, but still it's really soft. Like look at how soft it is, but yet still supportive here in the toe box. And then around the tip of the toe, we actually have some like rubberized material. You know, it's not a fuse or anything, but of course that'll be good for durability and support, especially if you're doing toe drags. But yeah, it feels really nice here in the toe box, and then going around the eyelets and also coming down into the forefoot a little bit as well on both the lateral and medial side of the shoe. We have this kind of like shinier material, you know, and it almost reminds me a little bit of fuse as well. But yeah, that stiffens up the upper just a tiny bit for extra support, of course. And then here for the tongue, we have pretty minimal padding. It's not well padded at all. And then it's also a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And then here in the midfoot area, this looks like Flywire. You know what I mean? When I first saw it, I was like, oh, it looks like Flywire. It looks pretty cool. And I'm glad that they're bringing it back. However, they're calling it the Dynamic Internal Midfoot Containment System. It's just jargon, you know what I mean? It's basically just two materials, and it's a really freaking thin material. I don't know how this would improve lockdown that much, but the laces go through it, so it's almost kind of like an eyelet. And then it's just a very thin material, like I said, and then you have some stitching, you know, like a cord stitch to that material to make it look a little bit like Flywire from the outside, you know. But this is also screen mesh right here, and then underneath that we had that midfoot containment system. We got two of them on the lateral side and also two of them on the medial side. That'll probably help a little bit for support, but I feel like it doesn't really do much. Also, we have the swoosh, and this colorway is very reflective with these really cool colors on the lateral side and also on the medial side. And what's really cool about this as well is that with this embroidered kind of pattern on it, it's supposed to resemble, you know, Sabrina breaking the glass ceiling, you know. So that's cool, I guess. The graphic looks cool though, you know, with the swoosh going through the glass ceiling or whatever. And then here in the heel, we have just a synthetic material, but there also seems to be an internal TPU heel counter. And like I said, this is not plastic. This is all foam right here with the darker colored foam. And then here in the ankle area, we have like an average amount of padding. Like on the sides it's pretty average, and then the back of the heel where your Achilles is pretty average as well. So yeah, it feels really nice on foot, you know. It conforms to my foot really well. It's overall really thin. Ventilation seems to be okay. There's not a whole lot of airflow, but it also seems pretty dang supportive. As far as the material quality goes, it feels okay for the price. It doesn't feel terrible, but for performance and on foot, it feels great, right? And also another cool design on the swoosh is, you guys remember the S's that went around the outsole? It also goes around the swoosh on the lateral side, which is pretty cool, right? But now moving on to the fit, I went up half a size, and this shoe fits me overall pretty well. Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit long, obviously, so if you want to go true to size, lengthwise true to size should be good for most people, right? But I don't know why, but all of Nike's shoes have been fitting really snugly for me. Maybe it's because the socks that I've been using. You know what I mean? I've been wearing like really thick socks, like thicker socks. And when I wore those, this shoe's fit is extremely tight. And you know, most basketball socks are like on the thicker side of things, right? But when I switched into like a normal casual sock, you know, with one with no padding, this shoe actually fits me a little bit looser, which makes sense, of course. But yeah, it all depends on what type of socks you wear, of course. But with my basketball socks that I always wear, these are actually pretty dang tight here in the toe box, like a really snug fit. I can't really curl my toes either, but lengthwise, like I said, it is a little long. Also widthwise, I would say it's normal to slightly narrow. So yeah, if you want a really snug fit, then go true to size. If you want a little bit more relaxed like me, even though it's still kind of snug here in the toe box, then go up half a size, right? But also this is a women's shoe, so it is in women's sizing. So I mean, the conversion will be on Nike's website, so you don't really have to worry about that. But yeah, the overall fit for me is pretty dang snug, right? And now moving on to the support and lockdown, it feels like it'll be overall pretty dang good and also a little bit more supportive than the Sabrina 1. As you guys all know, the Sabrina 1 wasn't the most supportive shoe because of the material. The material, once you broke it in, got really soft, right? I mean, it wasn't terrible or anything, it was just like, it was adequate. But it wasn't the best for support. It kind of reminded me of like the PG6, you know? But the Sabrina 2, with this kind of like shinier purple material on the upper, that seems a little bit more supportive. We'll have to see once I break it in, of course. But as far as lateral counters go, here in the forefoot, we have a little bit of foam coming up, acting as a sidewall. And also, like I said, this material comes down into the forefoot a little bit too. And then here in the heel, we have an internal TPU heel counter. So lateral containment feels like it'll be pretty good so far. We'll just have to see on how supportive the overall material is right here, right? Also lateral stability, we have a very sharp and very wide outrigger here in the forefoot. So you should be good for lateral stability as well. And I'm not really experiencing any type of heel slippage or anything like that. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe. So this shoe feels extremely light. And as you guys all know, Cushlon and React are very, very lightweight foams, and there's not a whole lot of padding in the actual upper either. So I'm guessing like 11 ounces, probably. No, 10.9 ounces, which that's extremely light. Let's check the other shoe. 10.95 ounces. That's extremely light. That's actually one of the lightest hoop shoes that you can get right now, actually. You know, if I remember correctly, the Wade Flash is like 10.8 ounces, I think, which is the lightest hoop shoe that you get right now. So yeah, this actually, it qualifies as like at least like top 3 lightest hoop shoes, right? That's extremely light. You know, the average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So yeah, this shoe feels extremely lightweight, very minimal, and it feels like it'll be very responsive too. The traction feels really good. Court feels really nice, but still the cushion's comfortable. Support feels overall pretty dang good so far, and it fits me well. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to play in these, and it feels really nice on foot, right? And now moving on to the aesthetics. I love it. This shoe looks absolutely amazing. This colorway looks great. I'm very, very looking forward to other colorways coming up. And Sabrina has been wearing some PEs that look really good as well. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetic down in the comment section below. I mean, I might even go out on a limb and say this is Nike's best looking hoop shoe right now. Right? Easily, no? I don't know. So again, tell us your thoughts down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yes, this shoe is feeling super duper nice, but honestly, it feels very similar to the Sabrina ones. It's just lighter and feels a little bit more supportive. So that is definitely an upgrade, but we'll have to see on, of course, the dust performance and if the cushion gets even better, right? So yeah, I'm liking the Sabrina 2 a lot so far. But anyways, that about concludes this video. Thank you guys for watching. And again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave the affiliate link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.